Happy New Year, happy campers. I'm Carla. Welcome to Singing Nomad. Today, I don't want to talk about New Year's resolutions. In my experience, they don't work. I'm lucky if I can get through February. But I found something that works for me. And if you have ADD or ADHD or a brain that just works differently as your superpower, then listen up because I have something that might help you. This video won't relate to everyone, but hopefully you can be inspired to collect some tools to help you to reach your goals. Because if we don't have goals in life, we just drift. We need a goal, we need a timeline, and we need grace for ourselves. A couple of years ago, I learned this principle called habit versus hustle. What do I mean by that? Well, if you were in college or high school, do you remember staying up all night before exams, cramming? Do you remember staying up all night writing a paper and just trying to hustle and get it done? Well, in my career, I sing and do public speaking and travel. And a lot of times I wouldn't have a booking for 2 or 3 weeks. And so I wouldn't sing and keep my voice in condition. And so if I got a booking, I would cram and sing all day long for 2 days and really hurt my voice. And I noticed that even though I did that, the singing, my voice just wasn't as quality. And my son and daughter-in-law had a costume wedding in New York, and they requested I sing at the reception. Well, it's my son. I want to do a good job. So I decided I wasn't going to cram or hustle. I was going to do a little bit each day as a habit. Even if it was 15 minutes, I got in there at the karaoke machine and I started singing. And I could tell the difference. And it was just a great principle that works with anything in life. We do need goals, or we're going to go 2, 3, 5 years and go, wow, I don't feel like I've made any progress. I wanted to save up for that trip, or I wanted to lose 10 pounds and I've gained 20 pounds, or whatever your goal is, to save money or whatever it is. So goals are very important for us, but not everybody reacts the same with getting to those goals. Maybe you have a system in place and you're a very organized person, and it's my temperament to be well organized as well. But as I get older and I take on more responsibility, sometimes I feel overwhelmed, like I'm drowning, especially with this channel. It's a lot, and I'm learning several different category of things at the same time. And I love it. It's fun. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that sometimes I feel like I'm drowning. And that can be depressing because I need things to be in order to have well-being. Not everybody's my temperament. I realize that. And you probably by this time, as an adult, you've figured out some things that work for you and some things that don't. Recently, I found a system that works for me. Some of you are going to go, that is ridiculous. But some of you will go, this is interesting. If you know, you know. So I have to have focus. And, I'm the type that if an object is out of my sight, it doesn't exist. I'm very squirrel. Things distract me easily. So I have to stay on point and on task. And I like the idea of doing something a little each day so that I'm not overwhelmed, but at the end of the year, wow, I'm a lot further than it was the year prior. So I want to share this with you. It is called a habit tracker. I love the name of this because, habit versus hustle. Now I have a to-do list that is separate and a project list that is separate, but this is just for my daily habits that I would like to get accomplished. There are all kinds of learners. I taught 2nd grade before I started a family in my 20s, and I noticed that a lot of the kids were really smart, but they just did not fit into the curriculum and the way and the methods that our school taught. So I tried to give them grace, tried to bring in art and music, different ways for them to try to connect and learn. So this is really interesting if you want to study more into it, research. It's pretty cool. There are visual learners where you have to see to learn. There are auditory learners where you need to hear it. There's kinesthetic or tactile learners where you need to touch and experience it. And then there's logical, analytical learners, social linguistic learners, solitary learners, and nature learners. Isn't that interesting? I love that there's such a variety of how our brains think and work. And I am a little bit of a couple of these, and I think it'd be cool if you found out what you are. That's why certain things don't work for you. It doesn't mean you're dumb or slow or dense. It just means your brain works in a different way, and it would behoove us to find out what works for us. I mentioned that I'm an organized person, but I am also a creative, and creatives usually work better on a deadline that's quickly approaching. Sometimes we can be procrastinators because we just don't have the idea yet. It hasn't hit us. But you put me on a deadline. Wow. Someone asked me to do a baby shower, and I was just so honored that they asked, but they wanted it done in a month. And I'm thinking, okay, I've directed plays and I had 6 months, build the scaffolding and all of that. And at the last minute, organically come up with creative ideas. But I was amazed at how it came together, because when you put me on a deadline as a creative, my brain just fires. It's like it just squeezes all these good ideas out. So if you're a creative, give yourself room for that. It doesn't mean that you're a procrastinator. It just means on a deadline, as it comes closer, your brain will just kick into gear and get her done. There is a book that I just read that I love if you're a creative. It's by Phil Cook, and it's called Ideas on a Deadline, and I would recommend that book. How does the habit tracker work? Well, it is like a reward system. And I don't know about you, I think it's human nature to want reward. I mean, we don't go to our jobs for free, right? We want a reward. And so I am one of those people that I need a dopamine hit. Even if it's tiny, I need it throughout the day to keep me motivated. So I used to do destructive things for that dopamine hit, like numb out with TV or eat junk, but I can't do that anymore. So I found a system that really gives me that dopamine hit, and it reminds me of being in elementary school when at least they did this back in the 60s, 70s. The teacher would put a poster board on the wall, and if you did something really good or you obeyed the rules or whatever, you did your homework and turned it in, you got to have a gold or a silver or a colored star put by your name. And this way you could actually track. And when mom and dad came in for the teacher-parent conferences, they could kind of see, they could track your behavior and your performance, and you could see how well you were doing. So that's what this system is like. And it just gives me such pleasure. You're going to see some of you are going to roll your eyes. I can just hear you already. But anyway, this habit tracker, I'm going to show you mine so you can kind of get an idea. So I liked this one. They have all kinds online. But I like this one because it's round. And I am a person that loves round shapes. I have round mirrors, round table in my house. I just love, in architecture, I like archways. I just like round shapes. Because, the earth is round, the planets are round. Round is good. So I have these things that I want to get done every day as a habit. And then I color coordinate it, and I love colored pens. Don't colors make you joyful and happy? They do me. I know I wear a lot of gray, but color just brings me alive, makes me very cheery. So that's a good motivator as well. So I love working with colored pens. I've told you before, I was in the hospital, my 20s, for depression, and they had art therapy for us, and they had drama therapy. And being an actress, you'd think I'd love that. I hated that. It was too intense. Oh no, too painful. But art therapy was awesome. We could be by ourselves and we could use colored markers or whatever. And sometimes, I would just color. And it was very therapeutic. And I doodle and all that. Now, my son and daughter-in-law, they're the artists. They are the ones that make their living in LA by being artists. But I'm not. I'm not an artist, but I do like to color. So, for instance, I start in the morning and I have quiet time, and I fill in the little box. And for me, filling in that colored box with a pencil, it's like art therapy. It's a hit of dopamine, and it motivates me to do the next task. The next one is movement, and then clean food and skincare and working on my channel, singing, composing music. I have one for that. Writing. I've gotten so much writing done on my book with this system. It's been great. And then environment. That's anything I do for my environment. Rearranging the furniture, doing the laundry, washing the dishes, mopping the floor, or decorating. Anything. I'm a person that has to have my environment not just clean and orderly, but I need it to be very serene for me. And that's a personal list for me, maybe more than it would be for you. But environment, very important for my well-being. And I had to put in there fun, because I can be very serious. And so when I was in college, I was silly. I laughed all the time. And in high school, and Allison, shout out to Allison, she would be silly with me, and she was my best friend in college. And we would do impressions and accents and voices and just laugh till tears were running down our face. And I don't know, life happened. I went into depression. I don't know. Life just smacked me one good one, and I just got so serious, and I need to laugh. It's very healing and very healthy for us to laugh. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take life too seriously. Remember, find your joy. So this system reminds me, hey, get on social media, TikTok, find something. Listen to Sirius FM, Laugh USA, something clean. Some comedy that will just get you laughing. And it does a lot for our brains. To me, it just clears out all the stress of the day. So be sure to schedule in some fun and some laughter. Another tool that I use, because sometimes it's very elusive to me. It's very strange. It's mysterious. And so to manage my time on a task or to kind of remind me that, hey, time's clicking away, I use this tool. And it is a visual timer. And I don't know if you can see that. It has a color so that I can see as time winds down how much I can visually see how much time I have for that task. And it also has a tick, tick, tick. And some of you, that would drive you nuts. But for me, it's a constant reminder. Stay on task, stay on task. I don't have to rush, but it's just like body doubling, meaning somebody's in the room with you while you're doing something. It just helps you focus. So that might work for you. I hope it's helpful. Hopefully this inspires you to find something that will work for you. And I know a lot of you, you don't need anything. But there are people like me, and the way our brains work, we need some tools to help us. Time is one of our greatest commodities, and life is short. As I get older and people around me start dying, I realize how short it is. So we have a certain amount of time, and we don't always know how much time that we have. So we need to manage it well, and we're all put here for a special purpose. So find out what that is and manage your time well. Stay in your lane this year. And don't compare yourself to anyone, especially on social media. You're the only one that can do you well. So we need you to be you. So don't compare. Stay in your lane and find out what you're supposed to be doing on this earth, because there are people that need you. So go out and make it a great year. If this helped you at all or you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell. And I'll see you down the road. Thanks for spending time with me. Bye-bye.